Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Tesla. It is time for another update and we see a very nice reversal already in place on this chart. In fact, it didn't even fulfill our count we were tracking previously, and even though we did extend to lower prices within this structure, it isn't within the pattern we have been outlining, and regardless of that, we seem to have broken the levels of resistance that would have still put pressure on direct extensions to lower prices within this structure. Not only that, but we are very close to actually building a confirmation that a more substantial bottom would be in place. We are very close to actually building a structure that would provide us a trade setup. And of course, we will cover all of that today. We will provide the data, the structure we are tracking. But before we do that, let's provide the context for this overall structure, for this overall development, because it is quite important, especially on this chart. On the larger time frame, we have been tracking this idea of a wave 1 up. We would have here a wave 2 down, and we would like to see a wave 3 take us to significantly higher prices. And of course, this is not the only possible interpretation, but I find it interesting to track this scenario currently, where within this wave 3, we cannot assume it to already be in formation, to already be ongoing within the count we have in place here, because this seems to be forming quite clearly a diagonal structure, right? We only have 3 waves within the wave 1, so we cannot track an actual impulse. Now, this doesn't mean that within the wave 3, we wouldn't still be looking for the ideal target, which is the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. That sits at around $610, yeah, around that area. I may have not drawn this perfectly, but you get the idea. Then we haven't gotten there yet, but I also don't expect this wave 3 to be complete at this point, since even the internal pattern, the internal structure in this area, doesn't have a complete 5-wave structure within this wave C. So what am I talking about? Well, previously we have even been preferring the idea of an impulse to be in formation within this wave C. That has failed when we broke the 50% retracement that would have allowed further extensions in the idea of an impulse. And in the previous video, we have highlighted the next and basically the only possible scenario that would still allow this wave C to be taking place in a direct fashion. We have outlined the idea of an ending diagonal within this wave C. So we had, in this case, the wave 3 already in place, and we were looking for the wave 4 correction with the support zone down to $303.7. There was and still is a substantial risk that this structure will not succeed in the end, but as long as we hold $303.7, we still have to allow this scenario to be a possibility, to allow it to play out. But if we fail to hold it, I would have to prioritize this idea of a reset within the wave B. Because so far, we do not have a 5-wave pattern within this wave C. I would consider we haven't gotten to the ideal target within the wave 3. And to actually build an ending diagonal within this wave C, where this would have been only a wave 1 and this would be a wave 2, well, I find that just incredibly unlikely. It would be a quite weak scenario, and even if we didn't actually form a lower low within this wave B, I might prefer a reset of the wave B in something like a running flat over actually tracking that idea. Nonetheless, so far this isn't the case. So far we actually see a nice movement to the upside, and previously let's actually explain what has happened here that allowed this structure to see the reversal. So previously we had this idea of an ABC pattern, where within the wave C, we have been preferring a substantial extension. In the previous video, the wave 3 had a bottom that could have taken place here, but the wave 4 wasn't substantial enough to consider it to be the wave 4 of the larger wave C. So we highlighted explicitly that if we were to extend directly to lower prices within this wave to the downside, I would consider that to be an extension of the wave 3 itself. That hasn't changed. I actually considered this to be an extension of the wave 3. So the area of resistance for such a wave 4 in such a scenario would have been updated to go up to $395.5. We have gotten a break above it most recently on Friday, Granted, it's not the most sustained one, so technically it might still build this wave 5 in yellow in the end, but given the internal structure I have identified within this structure, I do not find that to be the most likely outcome. So we will keep this as a backup scenario in the eventuality that the market opens on Monday and we drop, let's say even in the pre-market, back below this area of resistance, and then we extend lower and lower, thus completing this as a wave 5. I would still consider this to be a potential wave C in that case. But what I find more likely at this point is actually even a potential impulse that could be taking place in this overall pattern. So in my preferred count, I would consider this to be something like a 1, 2, and then this could be probably a series of a double 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, and then I would have this larger wave 3 to the upside that I would currently expect to be in formation. Certainly, this exact area is not ideal to have such a double 1, 2 setup, and in the end, this structure might not even be building an impulse, but as long as this structure can still hold this idea, we can still track this possibility in my opinion, as we can maybe allow a distortion to be considered in this structure where we do not clearly see a 5-wave pattern. Nonetheless, in the worst case scenario, I could track this as a diagonal pattern. But what I'm focused on is currently still on extensions of this as an internal wave 3 within the idea of an impulse. I would have here a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, this would be my wave 3 to the upside, wave 4 down here, and now we would be building the wave 5 of this larger wave 3. Within this internal wave 3, we have reached the ideal target, the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. In fact, we even exceeded it, reaching the next target, and currently, I would focus on this wave 5 more particularly, as I would actually like to see one more high before assuming a count to be full within this structure. More particularly, I am looking to build the wave 5 of this wave 5, which would make this larger wave 3 complete. We wouldn't need any further extensions once we have this next high in place. Now, this wave 5 itself is an ending diagonal that is in formation. We would have a wave 1 within an ABC pattern, of course. The same story for the wave 3 itself, and we expect the same outcome for the wave 5 itself, just to build an ABC pattern to new highs within this region, and then the count would be full. Currently, I would actually even prefer that this wave 4 has a bottom in place. I can identify a 3-wave pattern in an ABC structure into the 38.2% retracement, which is the ideal target for the wave 4, but of course it's within a very small time frame, it's extremely fragile. Overall, this entire pattern is quite fragile, but as long as we hold $394.3, we can maybe allow even a reset within this wave 4 if it is necessary. Now, what happens if we actually break this level of support? Well, I would have to start strongly considering that actually this wave 3 within an impulse would become considerably less likely. I would need to look for a larger wave 4, but possibly not even within the idea of an impulse. Sure, if we build the next high, if we build this wave 5, we can track still the idea of an impulse, but otherwise, I would really have my doubts about this outcome. So, the ultimate level of support I would be tracking given the current levels, given the outcome of a failure within this structure, would be down to the 61.8% retracement for this entire pattern, where I would still be looking to build a 5-wave move to the upside, but instead within the idea of a leading diagonal rather than an impulse. So let's say we track this in green and we have support down to $367, where if we break even below that level, well, I would have to pick up again the yellow scenario that would expect a wave 5 to take us to even lower prices, possibly still within this wave 4 in white, but not absolutely necessary. And beyond this, I do not believe it is necessary to go. We have all the relevant levels we need to watch. I would prefer to extend directly higher given the smaller time frame structure to actually complete this pattern. Then I would need to consider this wave 4 in white to had instead been built by something like a WXY pattern, something like that, instead of an ABC structure. Again, the yellow scenario would still require an additional low. That hasn't changed. It's just that if we manage to see a breakout, we need to allow a failure of that structure and track this wave 4 within a different count. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership. And other than that, let me know what else you'd like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I wish you a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.